Alright guys, Ignite here, and today we're going to be covering the Formica Clara versus the Weaver ant. Let's get into it. Alright guys, Ignite here. Today we are going to get into the Formica Clara versus the Weaver ant. Before we do, got to get into the usual shenanigans. This video is sponsored by Aptoid. We're using my code Ignite 2023. You can get anywhere from 5 to 40% off all in-game purchases. Full description of how to do so will be down in the description below, as well as a video as to how to take advantage of it, and a link to my Discord, where we do giveaways and have a lot of useful information on there. All right, first off, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit different. I'm a little bit sick, so might have a cough here or there, but hey, the show's got to go on, right? All right, let's get into it. So, as always, we will be ignoring skill 1, 3, and 4, and 6, as these skills are pretty the same among all ants, with the exception of the masters giving some march speed in there. So we're going to ignore those. Alright, so we'll get right into it. So, a Weaver. Combat skill, effective range of 2, has a 70% chance to trigger. Removes negative status, poison, exhaustion, etc. from 2 random squads. Or I'm sorry, from 2 random squads, and increase their defense and health by 40% for 2 rounds. Okay, so removing a negative status is always very, very good, especially when you're running against somebody that has like a double silence or anything like that, which is part of the reason, like, for carriers, the Ghost Dance is still a very strong ant to use because of its awakening ability. So that's a good skill. And now health is always a great thing to increase. Defense, not so much on shooters, but it's still pretty alright. And we'll get into the Formica Clara, which is a pre-combat skill. All squads in this troop, effective range 3. Reduces skill damage dealt to all of our squads by 60% in the first round. This effect decreases by 15% each round until it reaches 0. Okay, so obviously that's it's kind of like the old Banshee Panda in that sense, which we discussed this before in a previous video where I covered the Formica Clara. So that's really nice because, you know, for the first 5 rounds or so, you're getting an increased skill reduction, but this still doesn't take into effect like having silences or any kind of status effect skills being taken away. So as far as this one, for skill 2, I would say that they both have the pros and cons. So for this particular skill matchup, I'm going to go ahead and say that they're about equal. And we'll get into skill 5. Has a 50% chance to deal 150% plus special ant level times 1%. Damage to enemies 2 random squads, increasing their additional skill damage taken by 25%. The effect will double if the target is a carrier ant squad for 2 rounds. Effective range of 5. Okay, so that's 150 plus 50, so right around 200%, 2 random squads, total 400. Okay, so yeah, so pretty much a base stat attack, but being able to double and be able to get to 400% versus shooters, that's pretty good. And we'll go into the Weaver. I'm sorry, man. I'm sick. In the first 3 rounds, 2 random shooter ants squads gain combat speed plus 60% and have 100% chance to hit double hit status, gaining normal attack times plus 1. Double hit status cannot stack. Okay, so that's cool because it's effective range 2, by the way. So it kind of is like the nimble. So even if you like pair it with the nimble, you're getting like the additional from, just hypothetically, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good combination, but hypothetically, you're getting the additional 60, and then I think Nimble's 40% or something like that, to your combat speed, and 100% chance to enter double hit status, which, yeah, gaining normal attack times 1. So we'll go back over to the Formica Clara. Now, this one, I would have to say, it's got to go to the Formica Clara, mostly for the fact of when you're facing carriers, that 400% damage is pretty high. I wish that the proc chance is a little better, so as far as proc-wise, the Weaver is going to do better, but the overall potential max damage is going to be better for the Formica Clara. We'll get into this one. Weaver Ant is shooter ant defense plus 48, which defense really on a shooter squad is not that great, but it is what it is. And then this one is again shooter ant defense 38. So both of these ants are the same in that regard. And we'll get into the last one. Effective range 5, pre-combat skill. During the battle, heals our front line with a healing ratio of 200%. I don't know why they keep doing healing on these ants. It's absolutely useless. We've discussed this so many times. Anyway, it increases the additional skill damage of our shooter ant squad in the back line by about 5%, which is stackable. So that means out of 8 rounds, you got a max of 40% stack. When the combat skill of the backline is triggered, increases the additional skill damage of the squad by 100%. That's nice. Plus special ant level times 1%, so 150% to the target of the skill once per round. Okay, so that's giving an additional 150% skill damage. That's a pretty strong little op out there. And then, all right, pre-combat skill. 2 random enemy squads within effective range. Each time when 2 random enemy squads take damage, the next damage they take will increase by 15%. It can be stacked up to 60%. Okay, so 150% skill damage versus 60% kind of puts Formica Clara a little bit better. So, yeah, that is what it is. Personally, I never really liked Formica Clara. As you can see, I'm running a Weaver in there instead. Although technically, on paper, Formica Clara should be better. I just seem to have really bad luck with it. Some people swear by it. People can roast me in the comments. I've never had good luck with it. Even though on paper, and even in the advice I'm giving right now, it's technically better. But, the game's RNG just doesn't have it in favor for me for Formica Clara, so I don't personally use it, even though I have it. So overall, which is better? First off, neither one of these are good for PvE, really. These are purely PvP ants. But overall, Formica Clara can be kind of used in PvE, but it's not very good. But overall, the by stats, the best ant definitely has to go to Formica Clara. Anyway, I hope this video helped you all out, and we'll see you in the next one. Agni is out.